All right, call the meeting for the Estacada Economic Development Commission this morning. Our chair and vice chair's out, so and we need to see who would like to be the chair for the meeting today. Which member is the lucky member today?
Member of the committee.
Then I guess the only guy that's in person is gonna have to take
Think
care
you're
of
right.
that. All right, and I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie on this too.
You're a pro.
Okay. We're gonna call this meeting to order of the Estacada Economic Development Commission, sorry. Should we take a roll call first?
Yes.
Eric Sale. Brooke Wheeler.
Here.
Bo Brasseau. Cindy Moore.
Here.
Luke Spencer.
Here.
Stephen Chandler. And Ryan Carpenter is here. I believe we have a quorum. And Counselor McElroy.
Here.
Awesome. Okay, our first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes. Any discussion or revision suggestions? Then I guess we'll take a vote on approving the meeting minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Ask for a motion.
They
first.
need to make a motion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry,
Motion in a second.
I should know that. I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes?
All right, Cindy motioned in a second.
Second.
Brooke Wheeler seconded. Thank you. And now, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And that's 4 yeas. Okay, our next order of operations is to open the meeting to public comments. Is anybody signed up for public comment?
No one signed up for public comment, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And now we have item 4, EDC application interviews. Do we have interviews?
Yes, thank you, Chair and Commission. We have David Cross here this morning and Paris Fetting, two applicants here for the EDC.
Can you guys mute your microphones? It's got an echo on there. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Oh, appreciate it. So we have both of them here. So if we both can, applicants want to come up to at the mic here, and then let's go David Cross first. Anyone come up first, David? And then the commission can interview and see if this is someone fit that, meets the needs for what we're looking for on the EDC. And then we'll make the suggestion to city council from there. From that standpoint there, so.
Thank you. Okay, David, good to see you. Take it over.
Okay. The reason by the way, I was on the school board at Springwater Environmental Sciences School, and I was the chair there for a couple of years, and I'd forgot the formal, the formal procedures that you need to go through. So that was quite amusing to remember that. I've lived in Estacada now 17 years. Before that, I was in Portland for 5 years. Before that, I've lived in a further 7 countries, and I've worked in a total of 23 countries around the world. Although I'm an implant in Estacada, it's really the longest time I've spent anywhere over the last 60 years. And I love it. I love the fact that we've got 1.1 million acres of national forest just up the road. My own business, I run business consulting, marketing. I also copyright for businesses. I've got experience working with companies of all sizes and shapes and types of companies in many different countries. For 16 years, my biggest client was the world's largest private financial publisher, who are headquartered in Baltimore. And I used to fly every single month from Portland to Baltimore. That was 142 trips to Baltimore, and then I would come back and run my business virtually from my home in Estacada. I used to live up on Reed Road, Day Hill area. Moved to the new Holt Homes development at the top of Deuce Road about 3 years ago with my family. I have now one child in Estacada High School. My eldest daughter is at Mount Hood Community College. And the reason I joined this is I have a lot of experience with business and with marketing and fundraising. I also, as I say, was on the school board there for a charter school. And, you know, one of the things with a charter school is it's really like running a charity that you have to, as my mum used to say, you have to cut your suit according to the cloth you have. And it very often involved fundraising. I was instrumental in helping Springwater buy the school building from the Oregon City School District. We raised the money from parents to be able to do that. So I have both commercial experience with companies, but also charitable and educational experience. I think Estacada is an amazing place, but it's kind of a best kept secret. You know, we kind of hide our light under a bushel in many ways that even people from Portland, they don't really understand Estacada. People are like, yeah, I've heard of Estacada, I've never actually been out there. And so there's a huge catchment area, as we call it in marketing, of people in the greater Portland area that have not actually been out to Estacada. There's some amazing countryside. I fish, I hunt, I also hike with a gun when it's when it's not happening. And my kids have grown up here knowing that my previous property was a small farm. We used to rear and grow our own food. So my kids have seen both the rural aspect of Estacada, but because I ran my business from home since, well, I've worked for myself for 30 years, but in Estacada since 2007. I mean, we all got used to virtual working with COVID, but I'd been doing that kind of thing already for 20 odd years around the world. And in Estacada, since I say, you know, 2007, and we have a great company here, Reliance Connects, that provides gigabit bandwidth. And so you can live in a place where you've got the nature just up the road and all around us, and anyone could telecommute from here, but also anyone could work virtually anywhere around the world from here. So I think that's a huge strength, that Estacada is a really great place to raise your kids and your family. It's a beautiful place, having such amazing countryside, but we're also very much connected to the rest of the world, and you can live here and run a business and have a great lifestyle as well. The high school is an amazing place. I know that facilities-wise, the measure was not passed earlier this year. People were very short-sighted and saw only the cost, but not the value of education for our expanding population. But I mean, I've seen education in many countries. I've seen childbirth in many countries because of my kids in Sweden and England and America. And I can tell you that the teachers at Estacada High School are just one of the best, most caring, most diligent educators that I've come across. And that's, you know, you know a tree by the fruit it produces, and the quality of education at Estacada is second to none. And so we have a great education for people that want to move here. We have the ability to run a business anywhere in the world from here, and we have just a great place to grow a family. And I think that I can bring a lot of my business experience and marketing experience to Estacada. And what we're trying to do here is to develop the economy of Estacada so that we are more prosperous. I mean, in the recent economic study, what the consultants found was that there's a great influx of people into Estacada. I think it was 2,000 21 was the largest influx with a 20% population expansion. But what's actually happening is that that money is not being spent in Estacada. And so people tend to, they're like, where do you want to go to dinner tonight? Oh, I don't know. Is there somewhere in Sandy or Gresham? But we need them to stay here and to bring their money here. And we need to see the economic benefit of the expansion of population. So it's like people need to enjoy Estacada and realize what its strengths are. And people also need to plow back those resources to Estacada to make it a more financially strong and stable local economy. The other experience I have is public relations. I was a host on QVC in England for a while. I've worked with television and radio. I used to be the head of PR for a large international charity in England. And so I've got a lot of experience of creating the story behind the story, of involving the media, both radio and television and newspapers when we had those things, but also, working with the media for the internet and using all modern methods of communication, Twitter or X as we now call it, and developing relationships with journalists. Because I think there's a really good story to tell about Estacada. And I think that's part of the plan that we need to build here, is telling the story, telling the real story about Estacada and what the opportunities are here.
Thank you.
So I will leave that with you. And please, if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Commission panel virtually, do you have any questions for David?
David, this is Luke. Thanks for coming and talking about all that stuff. Sounds like you have a lot of great experience. What business do you operate?
I run a one-person consulting company, and I will go into businesses and I will help them with their business. There's the best definition I ever heard for what is business is what you go out of when you don't have enough of it. And so I go into businesses and I help them with their marketing. For 5 years in 97, I ran an internet service provider in Sweden. And there I built up a lot of technical understanding. So I will go into a business and I'll help them with their marketing and their promotions and their sales. But I also have a really good understanding of the technical aspect of internet business. And so I can work with the tech guys to make sure that the marketing vision is understood. Because what you find in a lot of companies is that you have the marketing people and they're coming up with the creative ideas, and then the tech people, and they just don't understand the marketing side of things. And so you end up with this gap of understanding. Well, my niche has been where I go in and help people with their marketing, but I also get the technical side of things. And so I can I've worked on small and large projects to build that things like e-commerce for a business, search engine optimization, pay-per-click, etc. Work with consultants around the world and different projects, teams from Australia to India, Pakistan, Ukraine, Belarus, England, you name it. I've worked with most countries, and bring those benefits to my clients. So. And I've worked with companies, all types of companies, information marketing, publishing, finance, healthcare, a single person business in England that sells essential oils. I've been their consultant for 20 years, and they run a business from their garage. So whether it's small or large, I'm able to help them with their marketing, their copywriting, and help them build their business and also make more money from their existing customer base.
Awesome. Thank you. Cindy. Oh, yeah, Luke, I'm sorry. Did you have a follow-up?
Oh, no, I was just going to say thank you. And I look forward to hearing more about what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Moore.
Well, that's the most formal title I've had. Thank you so much for the acknowledgement. Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your interest in our Economic Development Commission, and your background is fascinating. Congratulations on your entrepreneurial success. I was wondering if you could share any experience that you've had in advising elected officials or public bodies in the manner that we're looking to do with our Economic Development Commission.
Yeah, sure. So my experience with not with Estacada High School, with Springwater Environmental Sciences School has been very good, very relevant in this regard. I've also been called on by the Oregon City School District to provide experience and advice to them about things like promotion and stuff like that. In terms of specifically working with a local council and advising them on their economic interests, I don't have that level of experience, but I don't think that's a weakness, because I think that what we have here is the need for someone or a team who can bring not only the economic suggestions about what might happen, but also the experience of helping businesses and getting the message out there. And I think that that's a really great strength, because it not only provides the council with advice, but it provides them with practical experience and understanding in a real world situation for businesses on the ground that need to build themselves. And the message I mentioned, where we need to get the story out about Estacada, I think is a very central point to this entire economic development project, if I can call it that. So directly, no. But in terms of practical experience, I think I have a lot to bring to advise and to contribute to this project.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And I don't believe that that is any disservice at all for not having prior experience. I think you're hitting it spot on from what I have learned from my fellow commission members as well, in their participation as business leaders in the community. So thank you again so much for your time. Look forward to hearing more.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you, David. And thanks for your kind words about the school district and your acknowledgement of some of the great utilities and resources that Estacada has to offer that truly is best in class. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for your time.
Especially the comments about the high school. We really like.
Yeah,
those.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of education, and Estacada really has great teachers. They really do.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we will call Paris Fedig.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. You guys want me to talk about myself?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're interested in it.
This will be a lot less words. Talking about yourself is not my strong suit. My name is Paris. I moved to Estacada when I was 5, so I'm a graduate of Estacada. I went to Eagle Creek when that was a thing. I went to Damascus Christian for a short period of time, and then back to Estacada High School. I am an Oregon licensed real estate broker, and one of the top real estate brokers in this geography. I help families move to Estacada, and when life takes them somewhere else, I help them move from here. My family owns the building at 381 South Broadway, which was previously Just in Video and is now Estacada Athletic Arts. Over the last year and a half, we've built that business from just a few doors down, which is now the lovely candy shop and soon to be paint throwing experience. I know we all can't wait for that. And so we grew out of that space and are now occupying our current space. I had 2 opportunities over the last year since we've opened that business to get involved with city council and city business. One was for a grant application, in which through that process, I felt like I learned so much, and I felt like it was information that I could potentially help people in the future, right? Whether that's city staff, council members, or individuals interested in potentially taking advantage of some of the programs out there that we don't necessarily advertise well. And I thought, okay, there's an opportunity here because I know what the gaps were for me, and I would love to help bridge those gaps for people in the future. And then I also had the opportunity to serve on the, I'm going to call it the wrong thing here, but the Lakeshore Development Project.
Mhm.
So the city had tapped me to serve on that particular committee. And as nervous as I was, I felt like I brought a lot to the table and I was able to help us achieve a mutually acceptable and beneficial outcome. And after both of those things, I thought, okay, now there's two opportunities here, right? I've 2 times in the last year, I've had the opportunity to plug in and see where the gaps maybe are and how I can contribute my experience to fill those gaps. And when I recently received a city email about another topic, something else that they needed my help with. And I thought, okay, let's see if we can make this a more regular occurrence instead of just like a regular, like a one-off, once every 3 months when we need a little bit of help. So I read the description for this particular opportunity and it said, looking for somebody with leadership skills. I'm involved in all kinds of stuff here in the city, not just in the city building, but around the city. So I've helped with Oktoberfest and getting ready to help with the tree lighting, and I've helped with all kinds of other projects. But it also said somebody with local real estate knowledge, and I thought, okay, well, I checked that box. And so when I was reading through the description of what the council was looking for to fill these seats, I felt like it made sense for the experience that I have. Before I was in real estate, should have brought a bottle of water. Before I was in real estate, I spent 12 years as a solutions architect for a talent acquisition firm in the UK. So also working remotely from Estacada. I do not live in city limits. I live outside of city, but still in Estacada up like the Porter Road Mennonite Church area. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been here forever and run a handful of businesses here. We have 2 Airbnbs here locally. My family lives here. My son has 11 cousins that all live here that are 11 and under. I have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Not quite in the school district yet, but he does go to Grace Crossing Preschool.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you for your application and interest in being involved. And I can say that it's just great seeing more business space downtown becoming more vibrant and serving children in so many different capacities. So I'm appreciative to see that building helping in good ways. Any questions for Paris?
Hey Paris, it's Luke. How you doing?
Good morning, Luke. Good to see you. Well, sort of.
Good to
Good to hear
see
your
you
voice.
virtually. For sure. So, as another small business that works in town, what do you think is maybe one of the biggest strengths for economic development in Estacada, and what do you think is like one of the biggest growth spots for economic development in Estacada?
There's that saying about like what you love about someone and also what drives you crazy about someone are often the same things. I feel like this question is similar to that. I feel like collectively the Chamber and the Visit Estacada Commission have done a good job of driving traffic to all of our local events and businesses. However, I feel like once we get people here, how do we capture it? So David mentioned that like we've had tremendous growth, yet people continue to go outside of Estacada for services. When I was growing up here, I felt like a lot of the services that were offered were the caliber of like rural living, right? Like if you went into the city, you could get really good healthcare. But if you lived out here, like you got what you got. I feel like since then, like over the last 15 years, that's changed dramatically. And now we have these businesses that are truly like top line, right? Like we have a dance studio that's like winning wild awards. Like Luke Clackamas River Outfitters is like out there putting on events that people in your industry like look forward to, and they're becoming like local top events like Whitewater Games, and what you guys do up there is fantastic. And so while I think that we're doing a good job of getting some information out. I think we need to capture more of what already exists here. So not that I don't like the idea of like bringing the outside into Estacada, but I also feel like, and I know this from real estate too, every once in a while I'll see somebody who lives in Hillsborough and they're listing a house in Estacada. And I'm like, how often do you come out here? And how are you going to tell them about the schools or like what business resources are available for them? And so I feel like capturing more of what's already here comes through this process.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Spencer. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, yep, go ahead.
What belt are you?
Oh, no.
No.
I'm a white belt. So Estacada Athletic Arts' primary function is jujitsu, but we also have a giant group fitness programs like cardio kickboxing, boot camp, yoga, Pilates. That's more my jam.
I've seen some pictures on Facebook, I think it was, or something.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you
Cool.
very much. A pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
John, in terms of procedures, can you kind of walk me through that and what we need to do?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Carpenter. Basically now it's up to the commission to decide. We have 9 seats. We have 7 filled. We have 2 openings. And so it's up to the commission. You guys can talk about it now, what your thoughts are and any recommendations. If you think both candidates would fit and work for the EDC, then we would make a recommendation to the City of Estacada Council for
Okay.
adding them to the EDC there.
And if we were to vote in support of either one or both, would we vote on them individually or as a set?
Individually. each
Okay.
individual set, yeah.
Okay, thank you. As I look online here, Commissioner Wheeler, Moore, and Spencer, any discussion or recommendations? Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi there. Thank you very much. I just wanted to say I really appreciated both interviews. I think they were very much complementary in ways and difference in ways as well. I love the international experience. I also love the civic engagement that's currently happening with Paris as well. And so I really think that was a nice balance with both their experience and just the way they presented and spoke about Estacada. Both in the very local sense, but also connecting Estacada to a larger region, state, global presence. So my recommendation, I'll wait, I guess, until we have a formal process, but just a couple comments on both. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Moore. And I agree with your sentiment as well. Any other comment or thoughts?
I agree as well. I felt like they really complemented one another, and I liked all of the things that they said and what they both bring to the table.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Wheeler, and I agree. And Commissioner Spencer, did you have some comments as well?
I was just wondering, are we looking for a motion today and a vote?
Yep.
or-
Yeah, we'll make that motion here just as soon as we've all had the opportunity to speak and deliberate. Yep.
Yep. Okay, great. I appreciate it. Nope. I agree. I think they could both be a strong asset to the commission.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Well, it sounds like we're really kind of in a unanimous agreement. And so how we'll proceed is we'll call one of them spot number 8 and one of them spot number 9 in terms of the position. I don't know if there's zones or anything predicated for that. So we've got David Cross who has applied for position 8. Can we get a motion to let's see, what would that motion be? It would be a motion to appoint David Cross to the EDC.
Yep.
Okay,
To recommend appointment.
Recommend appointment.
to
to
recommend
city council.
appointment.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to have him join.
okay, sounds good. So we have a motion from Commissioner Spencer. Is there a second for David Cross?
Second?
Okay, the second came from Commissioner Wheeler. And all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I
Okay, that motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Mhm.
On to EDC spot number 9. We have Paris Fedig, who is the sole applicant for spot number 9. Can we get a motion to recommend appointment for position 9 of EDC?
I'd make a motion to recommend Paris.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Spencer. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Cindy.
A second from Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have 4 in favor of aye. Welcome to both of you to the recommendation to the commission, and just wanted to appreciate again you taking the time in this day to really share not only your qualifications but also your passion for and just promoting what Estacada is while still protecting its values, which is equally as important. So on behalf of the commission, both here and not here, it's just great to see people who love this place and are willing to involve themselves to support that.
I was just making, the only thing I had some confusion, I should have said this earlier, is just I thought maybe Melanie thought there was only one spot and there's 2.
Yeah.
We're positive
Pretty
there's
sure
2
that
spots.
we got
correct?
Eric, Brooke,
There's-
2, Bo, 3.
Elena knows. Yeah.
6. Oh, there's only one spot. Oh, there's only one spot.
Is
I
it
thought
that makes
capacity-
things a whole lot
capacity of
tougher for
9?
us.
It's capacity of 9. We got
Who's
1,
the- who are the
2,
members?
3, 4. Who's the 8th one that we have? 'Cause
I'm
we
only
got-
counting 7 too. That's why I was looking
I
at
have
those names.
I have Eric, Brooke, Bo, Cindy, Luke, Stefan, and Ryan.
Did you count Michael?
I'm not a member of the committee.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Scott Stahl.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Sorry, okay, now it's back to 1. Sorry about that.
Earlier. I thought I would.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Well.
Yeah, there you
All right,
go.
so
I motion to
more
make
work
this a
here.
10-person panel.
All right, so sorry about that, Chair Carpenter. Now we need to vote for 1 or suggest 1 moving forward there, so.
Okay, well, you just put a whole lot more pressure on us to make an extremely difficult decision publicly. So do we need to undo anything we just formally did?
I have a
Technically,
question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Spencer.
So given that, I don't know if the folks are still in the room, but is this something that we could discuss and then bring back for the vote? I don't know. Are the folks still in the room that we interviewed?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, they
they're
are.
still here.
And I think we do have the ability and authority to do either or. I mean, we as a commission can certainly deliberate on this decision, and a decision does not need to be made at this moment. But at the same time, we can have a lively discussion amongst the commissioners too, and ultimately recommend the one that we'd like to see fill the vacant spot. So we do have 2 options that we could do.
I vote to make it a 10-person panel.
I know that that's tricky from a vote perspective, but at the same time, the more the merrier also, and we're trying to do this too. But I think that's more of a council decision, most likely in terms of the how many can serve and that kind of stuff. But I'm with you, Commissioner Spencer. I'm on the planning commission as well, and I've never had one, but do we have the ability to have an executive session as a commission?
No, I would say just because we're a commission, no, but what you could do is ask for a motion to, defer making a decision today, if the commission would like to talk, put it on the agenda for the next meeting. If you guys feel like you need a little time to think about it, you could, and that's fine too. If you both want to leave and then let it'll still be a public meeting. It's still a public meeting for discussion. So, it's up to you, up to the chair too. So.
Sure. I mean, these are things that are regular occurrences for me, so I don't mind the public conversation and I don't mind it. But at the same time, you know, I just, what would the commission, virtually like to do?
If it was me, I would make a motion to defer, be able to chat about it between the group and then come to a decision at a later date.
Okay. I'm gonna use that as a motion. Commissioner Wheeler, would you like to, add to that?
I was just gonna say that I agree.
Yep, okay. Sounds good. So there is a motion to defer the decision to the next Economic Development Commission meeting. That was seconded by Commissioner Wheeler. And all those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Awesome. Commissioner Wheeler, did you say aye? I didn't hear you there.
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So 4-0, and we will deliberate and go through all the processes. And again, it's unfortunate that there's only one spot because both of you are extremely qualified and extremely passionate about this process. So let us do some work on this and look forward to the city getting back to you on those processes.
Thank you both again for coming and presenting to the commission.
Thank you very much.
Council, that this is your recommendation that 10 people become the Estacada Economic Development Committee, but if it can only be one, here's our recommendation. Because I think we do know both a lot of experience and
Yep.
benefit.
Great. Thank you. And just to repeat this for the record and for those who are virtual, David Cross asked while we deliberate if we would also consider making a recommendation to the council to make it a 10-person panel, or what that would look like if we were to make a recommendation for just one. And so just wanted to repeat that on microphone so that our council could hear as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have one more question coming from Paris.
I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure, because this will make this decision easier potentially. There are 2 more grant opportunities coming up. One the city just emailed out about for the Main Street Grant Program. Serving on the Economic Commission, does that ever become a conflict of interest, or do we feel like that's free and clear to be able to both apply for the grant and also serve?
If you were giving a recommendation on something that would be to your benefit, it would be on a case-by-case basis. If you feel uncomfortable about something, like there might be a conflict, then you can always reach out to the city attorney, Peter, and Peter will let you know how to handle that situation. I run into it sometimes being on the council as well, where there's conflicts and you just have to not vote. You can still have input, but you can't vote on things that are a conflict.
Right.
And so it wouldn't be across the board, but more specific things where you might have a financial benefit from it,
Right.
or someone you know or family might have financial benefit.
Okay.
That there's entanglement in those things for everybody, for most people. So.
Yeah, I think what
Yeah.
Councilman Murphy says, as long, right now the EDC does not review any grants here, but if something were to evolve and we were looking at grants, you'd have to excuse yourself if you apply. So
Yep.
I don't see any conflict, but again, we can always run it by
Okay.
the city attorney. But before you leave, if you could take this business outreach event flyer, it's here local downtown. Thank you, Paris.
And it's going to be the same with any business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a panel full of business leaders, Paris, and they're all going to be intermingling that kind of stuff.
Great
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, guys, on that note, like when we do our Tourism Development Council meetings, at the beginning of every meeting, we ask if anybody needs to, let folks know if there's a conflict of interest, then we then put that out there. And then when that subject comes up, then we abstain. And that's how we do it there.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the business outreach, December event agenda. John, you want to take this?
Yes, thank you, Chair Carpenter. Again, at the last meeting, the commission, we discussed moving forward with the December 12th to have a business outreach and collaboration event here. And we have went forward and included in your packet is the agenda that we put together for the event there. It'll start between 5:30 and 6 here in City Hall here. Chair Carpenter has agreed to be on the panel here. We also have someone from the Mount Hood territory will be on the panel to talk about tourism. We also have Jeff Hampton from Business Oregon will be on our panel here. And we have Cindy Moore from Clackamas County will also be on the panel. I'm working to get someone, would like to get Tim Cook from the college and maybe someone from Rob Campbell from the Small Business Development Center. So really what we, looking to get the business community's input. We'd have a kickoff, have the mayor talk, council talk, the city talk about their Thriving Communities grant. Also have the chamber make any comments that they're doing to bring the collaboration there together. And then looking for sponsors or talking to Holt Homes to see if they would come in and kind of talk about the work they're doing in the community here. So the business community can care about that from that standpoint there. If you know anyone that's interested in helping sponsor, like, maybe the county's economic development department, just hint, Cindy.
Very
No,
subtle, Mr. Lagarza, very subtle.
Tourism. No, they looking for that, and it'd be about a panel discussion, 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to set up round tables here, and we'll have some like hors d'oeuvres and drinks here. People could come in, and we really want to just get the businesses to start asking like what do they need, right? And as we're building this strategic plan, we've been talking about the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities, and building that strategic plan that'll go eventually to council for approval of that 5-year plan. But hearing from them, I think we've been talking with Chair Carpenter here really around some of the CTE programs and workforce programs that we can build in this community. And what are some of the challenges that businesses need, whether it's financing or what are the struggles of the workforce, so that we've heard from the group to be able to gather that information, pull it into our 5-year plan, and be working forward with that. So happy to answer any questions the commission has on that aspect.
Thank you. Counselor McElroy.
Cindy, do you think there would be any benefit to an invite to one of the county commissioners that's staying in office, or any decision makers that you can think of that would be good from the county or state that could maybe facilitate answering questions from business owners about the business environment, or what things might be coming down in the hopper from the state side or from the county side that can encourage growth out here and help businesses that want to move out to Estacada?
Thank you for that question. I could certainly put the request forward with one of the Board of County Commissioners. I am not sure. I know that they do have a recess scheduled in December for 2 weeks, so I could double check on the dates of what that recess looks like. But certainly willing to put the invitation forward. And in what capacity are you thinking this would be a participation by a commissioner? Is it more of a guest? Is it on the panel? Kind of what are we
Yeah,
thinking
I
there?
wasn't too sure about I've never actually attended one of these type of meetings, but I was just more along thinking of somebody that might know the some of the goals that the county wants to achieve. If it were like a county commissioner, they may have programs that the county's working on. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of them. I just didn't know if there was any benefit, if there's something that the county's wanting to focus on and it lines up well with what we're trying to do on the Economic Development Committee, that they could maybe just speak into that some more. If it wasn't, if you've got all the county stuff covered, maybe even a state representative from our area that we can get a hold of that might want to come sit in and meet some of the local business owners and be able to speak to some of the things that might be coming down the pipeline at the state level. That could help.
Sure, and I really like where you're going with that, and you're right. I think I could cover from a programmatic perspective opportunities that are out there to support businesses from the county's perspective. And Jeff Hampton is my counterpart with Business Oregon, who is the state economic development agency. So
Oh,
you will
great.
have city, you'll have county, you'll have state economic development representation. But from a policy perspective, adding a board of county commissioner or city councilor, that is a different type of conversation at times, because it's more policy versus programmatic. But I'm certainly happy to put the invitation out if the commission feels that that's a good fit. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. And I think just from a procedural perspective, John, as the city employee, kind of serves the needs of the commission. And so as things come fit, or Commissioner Moore, as you see things that may apply to some of the goals or futuristic goals that we're trying to accomplish, we could task John with coordinating what we needed to come and give presentations or to speak in different ways. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah,
I do-
absolutely. And that is my MO, to be honest, is to defer to the local representative.
Yep.
We never want to be perceived as coming in a different position than supportive to our cities. And so, yeah, I think you're spot on with that, and I appreciate the concern.
Great.
Yeah, I do like, this is a great discussion on this agenda, because what we could do, Chair Carpenter, is we can have our panel, but what we could do is maybe have some of the elected officials that represent this region come and talk a little bit about what they're working on, what their vision is for them, for their office for 25, 26, right? And I like that, because that also is a chance to have them here in our community, and they see the business community and what we're trying to do. And that connection just makes it stronger for all of us as we go forward. So what I could do is I could work on the agenda at the beginning, and then, before we go into questions with the panel and business community, we could have them, give them, 5 to 10 minutes, maybe after the mayor, we could have them speak a little bit on what they're working on around the business community at a state level, at a regional level. And I think that would be great.
Yeah.
It really would be, I think, from that standpoint. So I like that, Councilor Macklin.
One of the things that's a real benefit for me is like just being involved with the meetings and everything. I'll see an opportunity because I know of somebody's need or what somebody's trying to do. And then I run into another business person. I say, hey, there's this opportunity for you to be able to do this with this company. They're looking to do that. And that's kind of the seed I was playing. Yes, they can give us information about what they're thinking about coming down the pipeline, but they're going to bring that information about us. They're going to get to know us on a local level. And then when they go back to Salem, and they bump into somebody that says, hey, we're looking for a place, some industrial, whatever it may be that they're looking for, we're just going to be on their mind more. So the more connections we can make at the state level, and that goes back to Salem, I think it's never going to be a negative thing for us.
Yeah, that's a great, I mean, I know, like Sydney, we brought Martha out when we were doing the CLT, and, Commissioner Humberson, and, that was a strong initiative with the city here too. And those, making those connections, I think, are important.
Yeah.
So,
That's a really good point. Oh, sorry, John, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Good.
I just think that's a really good point. And the idea of having kind of an elected officials format more specifically around policy could be a great way to kind of parcelize the conversations, but then bring all the perspectives together. So we have a panel speaking to programs and services for business, then you have a policy conversation with your electeds. I think that, from my perspective, is a nice complement to the work we're looking to do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Definitely connects the dots, like you said, back to Salem too. I like that. Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you. I'll update this agenda. We did put together a flyer. So I'll be, if you want to take a few, we'll be passing them around and putting them out to the businesses here. We'll be working to send out some postcards to the businesses, getting it on the website so they can sign up there. So greatly appreciate the collaboration around that. So that should be a great event there. So.
Thank you. And it's 9:06. How's everyone doing on time? I know at 9:30 I have a very hard stop because I need.
Wrap it up here. Yeah.
Okay, I have to get to Clackamas. Okay, Clackamas County Economic Indicators.
Great. It's in your packet. I know, Chair, we're on time there. I just like to put these indicators in here since as we're looking at the economic development plan here, the strategic plan there, you could read them. It talks about, what the growth is happening in the county from that standpoint. So just helpful information. Also in the packet here is, vacancy survey around jobs, what kind of jobs that are needed out here in this area. So I'll just kind of put that in there every month that we have that information to share out with everyone from here. So
This is outstanding. Thank you.
good helpful.
I like this data. Questions or comments on economic indicators?
Just a quick comment, that Lynn Wallace is an amazing economist and researcher, and she does put a different spin on every month. And so you might have a month that focuses on the housing trends. You might have a month that focuses on employment trends. You might have a month that focuses on retail trends. And so it's just a really good kind of broad look at what's happening in our communities. And sometimes she is able to take data down to the city level. So just putting that out for consideration, should we want to take a deeper dive on any of the bullet points that you see on the economic indicators report.
Fantastic. Thank you, Commissioner Moore. And I look forward to that. This is a good piece of information and education. Economic Development Strategic Plan, item number 7 on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Carpenter again. I think just for the savings of time, all the members had some assignments to work on for the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. If you could, email me again your areas that you were assigned last time to work on, and I will put those together and share that out in the next meeting, what our strengths, opportunity, and weaknesses are. I added in here infrastructure because it's an important thing in the council, and I wanted to bring this up with the EDC. Just recently, we had Northwest Natural come and present to the council about getting gas out here to Estacada. And I think it's something that the EDC should really consider in their, as far as power, broadband. We got great broadband here, but around looking and researching into gas. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up to the EDC to think about in the strategic plan is that really exploring the opportunity to get gas to this region. And I think that could be something that we should really think about including into our, in our economic development strategic plan. Northwest Natural could, potentially start, if we had a recommendation, from our plan to look at what the design cost would be. I think it's important over the next 5 years to really start to explore that, but we got to make some steps in that direction. I think this could come out of from infrastructure as an important topic. Gas, power in our area. We know about water. We're working on the wastewater treatment plant too. So that's something I wanted to bring up, and maybe we could have a little bit of conversation around that. And again, just on your SWOT research, if you can email me that, and I'll kind of take a first kind of draft of putting that up in a report for next month, because I also want to hear back from our, after our business outreach here too. So I think by February, we could have a pretty good draft strategic plan to be able to give final blessing and start moving that forward to council. But I think infrastructure is something to really consider, and gas being one of those things there. So that's simple. So
Okay, thank you.
Was Northwest Natural looking for some sort of assistance in order to build out this way?
the Northwest Natural, what really needs to happen is the engineering needs to be done to move it. You move out for the next, bring it out to this area. And I could have actually put in the packet. I thought I had it in the packet, but I could bring it next time to talk about. So really bringing, gases out is in Sandy and a couple other areas here. To be able to bring the high pressure line out here needs to be some engineering needs to be done. And that's usually, could be like $100,000 to $200,000, but it's something that we should think about really exploring and doing. And until you really do, what I've found in the past working with gas companies is until you do the design work, then once that's, thought out, that process, then you can really start to put some numbers to what it would take to move, to bring gas out to this area here. But it's a step that needs to be done, as, this area grows between Estacada and Sandy and Damascus and Happy Valley, so there could be, once the design's done, then there could be a discussion around what other partners could be participating in this, right? It shouldn't just be all of Estacada, but then also understanding like who that high-end demand user could be, maybe in our industrial park area. Does that help? Commissioner Wheeler?
Yes, yes, and I'm sorry, John, you did put this information in the packet. I'm looking at it as we speak.
Oh, okay. I didn't have so.
Yeah, it's a good visual. I'm looking at it
Yeah.
as well. And I'm certain will be great discussion for the
Yeah,
future.
it will be. It'll be good discussion.
I'm
I mean,
sure others will have an
there's-
opinion
there's,
about it
you
as
know,
well.
Yeah, but I think as the, as the for the council, we should do the due diligence, look at it. We could be the ones that get a little deeper in the infrastructure weeds to be able to help move that forward from that standpoint discussion.
Just a quick one, right?
Yep.
Yep, and just a quick comment on that is one of the biggest things that Northwest Natural brought up at that meeting was that the politics of Oregon is one thing to strongly consider before an expansion. They're getting a lot of pressure from the state side that's discouraging natural gas. So I would say getting familiar with any of the legislation that would have an impact or a penalty attached to using natural gas for businesses, if they're going to make it punitive for you to use natural gas and it's going to become more expensive than electricity, then there's not a huge benefit to the community in bringing it out. If that's not the policy that's going from the state level, then I just think it's worth mentioning that before we spent a couple $100,000 on engineering, we're not doing that without knowing what's coming down the pipeline at the state level. And so
Yeah.
that's one of the things I'm looking into, and I'll share any information I find on it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
just getting Northwest Natural to give us a proposal for the engineering, and then,
Yeah.
and then it'd be a healthy discussion to come forward with that with council, and if we can find grants or other partners to fund it. I think, awareness, yeah.
I'd love to get gas out here. I'd
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 8, tax incremental financing discussion.
Yeah, thank you again, Chair Carpenter. Wanted to bring this again to the EDC as the city of Estacada's urban renewal is getting to sunset, right? To think about a couple things. One is potentially, I think this could be a great opportunity to explore new areas for a TIF district here. So maybe up along the mill site and the corridor kind of coming into town, right? So those areas could be an opportunity to study and look at what the potential projects could be to help, development happen in those areas. So I think it could be a great opportunity for a discussion here I wanted to, get some input back from staff. Really wanted some input back on thoughts from the EDC on that, if that's something that you think is, moving forward, studying that area and seeing what cities really don't have a lot of opportunity to have ways to bring in revenue and keep revenue here. An urban renewal is a way to keep dollars into your community here. Again, so I wanted just to kind of bring that up, and happy to come and do at the next session like a urban renewal one-on-one to talk through that with the group here, but just wanted to get that out as a topic here, discussion, and for future thoughts here. So.
Great, thank you. I know I would welcome some education
Okay.
on urban renewal.
Okay.
A lot of people have heard of it, but they don't understand what the benefit and what the cost of it is and where the money's coming from.
Yeah.
It was really helpful when I learned the structure of it. I understand, and it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I'll put it on
Thank
for-
you.
Okay.
Okay, item number 9, commissioner comments. I'd like to open it up if there's any commissioners that have input that they'd like to provide. I have one, and it's just more of a continuous calendar question. should I assume that these will be monthly meetings on the second Wednesday of every morning?
Yes.
I'm thankful to be here because Counselor McElroy just sent me a text to come on down and sent me his own calendar invite. But maybe if John, you
Yeah,
could make
invite.
sure that we have the right appropriate calendar pieces so that we can start in an organized and articulated fashion would be great.
Yep, it'll be every second Wednesday, 8, and I'll send out a invite to everyone there.
Okay, thank you.
Great suggestion.
Any others from the commission or council?
Just one quick clarifying question. For our deliberations on our new applicants, I was in agreement with Luke. If there's an opportunity to have the conversation about expanding to a 10-member EDC, I just didn't know if that made it to the suggested agenda items for the next meeting.
It's a, maybe we let Counselor McElroy and I also have to look at the charter. I don't know what they set up on the commissions, but I love the idea. I mean, I
Can you
think,
have an even number of people on? a
well,
commission?
I was thinking like even, do we go to 15? I mean, we're getting,
There's interest,
if
yeah.
there's interest, should we, let me talk to Melanie and Elena, make sure there's no, I don't know how the charter kind of set up on that piece there, but,
Yeah.
and maybe, Counselor McElroy, but.
My input, kind of like, if that came to the council when I was there, my, as long as it's for the benefit of having more diversity and more input on the commission and not not wanting to not make a tough decision about having one seat, as long as that's what's driving it, is that that they're just such a big benefit for having both of them on there. And not that we just don't want to make a decision because we like them both and we don't want to tell one of them no.
Right.
Then I would say that I'm all good on it. And it's not always comfortable, but
Yeah.
as long as everyone's participating, I think the more input, the better. And I'm all for it if that's what's driving it.
Yeah. I actually support, I would be welcome to 10. An even number is not best practice for the tiebreaker pieces of it. But, the current reality is, as you look at today's meeting, there are only 4 people present. And so, the Roberts Rules of Orders would suggest that if a tie existed, we just keep working on it and through the process. But I actually would be in support of making it keeping it at 9 and us just making a tough decision. I mean, as this council and commission moves in a direction that continues to promote growth, there's going to be controversial and popular things that a lot of people are going to want to be a part of. And at some point, we're going to need to cap this thing. And if there is demand, then that's only going to create a more qualified candidate to come and be a part of this process. And so I just think that we need to, well, one, I just think we were caught off guard with the decision that was in front of us. And so I just don't feel like we were in a great position to make a tough decision, especially after we just appointed both of them to the commission with the information that we had. But I think if this commission had the opportunity to think, deliberate, and work through the process, I'm confident we could make a decision on that.
And a no is not a no forever. A no is just not at this
Absolutely.
time.
No, it's just
And there
never
might
a
be
yes.
another opportunity, if
Right.
participation's not there, people's lives change, somebody has to step away. There's an opportunity for them to step into, so.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be in the same spot if you expand it to 10, the next time a seat's open, and you have 2 applicants, we're gonna be making the same decision at that point. Just as long as that's not
Yep.
what's driving it.
I know we're at time, but just one other suggestion. And if we do go that route, and I appreciate all those comments, and I understand it's a heavy lift at times to also change a charter to be 10 instead of 9. And for
Right.
decision-making purposes, 9 makes total sense. Just wondering if we wanted to, if there's not one already set up an interested parties list so that
Yeah.
if we do have members of the community who are interested in not only tracking our work, but it could also be a good on deck circle, if you will, for upcoming commission members.
I think that's a great idea.
Yep. Great call. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. So item number 10, next meeting agenda items. I think we covered that
Covered that,
for the
yeah.
most part with some great input from all. And so that makes our adjournment. Great job, everybody.
Thank you.
And thanks for making a rookie be the temporary chair in this, but all